Oh, my dear one, can you feel it? The morning is such a holy, sacred time. The air is fresh. The world is quiet, and heaven is leaning close, waiting for you to speak. There is power in the very first words that leave your lips when you wake up. When you start your day with prayer, you are not just saying words. You are opening the door for God's peace to flood your heart, for His protection to surround you, and for His breakthrough power to go ahead of you and make crooked places straight. I have seen lives transformed by a simple prayer whispered in faith at dawn, and I know deep within my spirit that God longs to do the same for you. This is not an ordinary morning. This is a divine appointment where you invite the Creator of the universe to take the lead, to guard your steps, and to release His miracles into every moment that follows. Beginning your day with prayer invites God's peace to settle your heart and mind before challenges arise. The very first moments of the morning are some of the most important of the entire day because they frame how you will think, feel, and respond to whatever comes your way. When you open your eyes and immediately turn your heart toward God in prayer, you are choosing to hand Him the steering wheel before the business, noise, and pressures of the world try to take control. Prayer creates a sacred space where you can exhale the worries you carried from yesterday and inhale the fresh grace He has provided for today. This quiet communion with God allows His presence to wash over you, calming anxious thoughts and steadying your emotions before the day, even has a chance to shake you. His peace is not a fleeting feeling, but a spiritual anchor that holds you in place no matter what may unfold later on. Prayer in the morning is like setting the thermostat of your soul. If you allow stress or fear to take the first place in your thoughts, your inner climate will be filled with tension and unease for the rest of the day. But when you choose to pray first, you are setting a temperature of peace that carries you through every interaction, every decision, and every challenge. This peace is something the world cannot give because it is not based on circumstances going perfectly. It is rooted in the unchanging truth that God is with you and for you. Even before you face a problem, prayer reminds you that the solution already exists in Him. That assurance allows you to step into the day with confidence rather than anxiety. Morning prayer is also a form of preparation. Life is full of unexpected situations, some small and some life-altering, but prayer equips your heart to handle them with grace. By seeking God first, you are fortifying yourself spiritually, inviting the Holy Spirit to guide your reactions and decisions. The peace that comes from prayer acts as a guardrail, helping you avoid rash choices made out of fear or frustration. It helps you pause and consider what God might be saying before you act, keeping you aligned with His wisdom. This is why people pray regularly often appear calmer and more grounded, because their hearts are anchored before the storm even begins. Spending the first moments of the day with God also brings emotional clarity. It is easy to wake up feeling heavy, distracted, or already overwhelmed by what the day holds. Prayer clears that mental clutter and replaces it with a renewed focus on what truly matters. As you pour out your worries and concerns, God exchanges them for His peace, which guards your heart and mind. This exchange is powerful because it shifts the weight off your shoulders and reminds you that you are not carrying life alone. That inner stillness makes it easier to hear His voice throughout the day and recognize when He is leading you toward opportunities or away from danger. Prayer at the start of the day also sets a spiritual shield around you. Though you cannot see everything that may try to disturb your peace, God can. When you invite Him to go before you, He is already working to protect you from harm, to keep you safe from traps, and to position you for the good that He has planned. His peace becomes not only a comfort, but a form of protection guarding you against the enemy's schemes to steal your joy, your focus, or your confidence. This shield allows you to walk with boldness into situations that might otherwise intimidate you, because you know you are not walking in your own strength. Another beautiful thing about beginning the day with prayer is how it transforms your relationships and interactions. When your heart is at peace, you are slower to speak in anger, more patient with others, and more compassionate toward those around you. Prayer softens the heart and creates space for grace, which can completely change the way you approach conflict, disappointment, or frustration. It positions you to be a source of calm in the midst of someone else's storm. carrying the peace you received in prayer into every conversation and connection. Over time, this habit of praying first thing in the morning becomes more than a spiritual discipline. It becomes your lifeline. You start to crave that moment of stillness, that quiet exchange with God, because you see how it affects your entire day. You notice that even when problems arise, you are not as easily shaken, not as quick to worry, and not as tempted to give up hope because your heart is anchored in His peace. This consistent choice to start with prayer is what builds a life that's not tossed around by every challenge, but remains steady, secure, and full of quiet strength. Morning prayer places a shield of divine protection over you and your loved ones. Prayer is not just a conversation with God. It is also a covering, a spiritual barrier that surrounds you before you step into a world filled with uncertainties. When you pray at the start of the day, you are intentionally inviting heaven's defense to go before you, behind you, and all around you. You are asking God to order your steps, to close doors that would harm you, and to open the ones that lead to life and blessing. This divine shield is not something you can create by your own strength. It is a supernatural grace that only God can provide. As you pray for protection, you are aligning yourself with Psalm 91 promises of being hidden under the shadow of the Almighty, knowing that no weapon formed against you will prosper, because God Himself is watching over you. This kind of prayer is proactive rather than reactive. Instead of waiting for trouble to strike and then running to God in desperation, you are meeting with Him first and allowing Him to prepare you and your path. Prayer builds a spiritual hedge that keeps you safe from attacks you cannot even see. Many of the things that never happened to you are actually the result of prayers that shielded you from danger. The car accident that didn't happen, the opportunity that could have led to disaster, the harmful relationship that never took root. These can be traced back to the protective power of prayer. When you pray in the morning, you are partnering with God to establish His will over your day before the enemy has a chance to sow confusion, fear, or distraction. This divine protection is not just physical, but also emotional and spiritual. The world can be full of negativity, criticism, and temptation, but prayer in the morning fortifies your heart against those arrows. It guards your mind from lies that would try to derail your focus and keeps your spirit strong so that you are not easily discouraged. You are less likely to absorb toxic words or carry offense because you have already placed a guard over your heart through prayer. This shield allows you to walk in confidence, knowing that you are secure in God's care regardless of what the day brings. Praying for your loved ones in the morning extends that protection beyond yourself. You can cover your family, friends, and even your community in prayer, asking God to watch over them, guide them, and keep them safe. This act of intercession is powerful because it not only strengthens your faith, but also releases blessing over those you care about. When you lift them up before God at the start of the day, you are entrusting them into His hands, believing that His angels are encamping around them. This gives you peace when they are out of your sight because you know they are never out of His. Morning prayer also positions you to recognize God's protection when it manifests throughout the day. Because you have already invited Him to shield you, you become more aware of the moments when He redirects your steps or delays something for your safety. What could have been an inconvenience suddenly becomes a reminder that God was looking out for you. This awareness deepens your gratitude and helps you see His hand even in what feels like detours or disappointments. Prayer opens your eyes to the ways He is working on your behalf, turning what could have been harm into hidden blessings. Spending those first moments of the day in prayer also builds a sense of spiritual confidence that carries you through the day. You no longer feel as though you are walking into the unknown unprotected because you have already declared God's word and asked for His covering. This confidence changes the way you move through life, giving you courage to face difficult situations, to make bold decisions, and to remain calm even when fear tries to rise. It reminds you that you are never alone and that heaven is backing you up. Over time, this habit of praying for protection each morning becomes a source of strength that shields not just your circumstances, but your perspective. You begin to live with the assurance that God is your refuge and fortress, that you are surrounded by His favor like a shield, and that no plan of the enemy can succeed against you. This assurance frees you from living in constant fear and allows you to walk with peace and boldness into whatever God has for you that day. Speaking to God first sets a tone of gratitude and faith that transforms your entire day. The moment you wake up, your mind is like a blank canvas waiting to be painted with the thoughts, emotions, and priorities that will shape the hours ahead. When the very first thing you do is lift your heart to God in prayer, you are choosing to fill that canvas with hope instead of worry, with faith instead of fear, and with gratitude instead of complaints. Starting the day this way reorients your perspective and reminds you that you are not stepping into life's demands alone. It is like handing God the pen and allowing Him to write the first lines of your day, lines that speak of His goodness, His mercy, and His faithfulness. This small but powerful choice sets the entire tone of how you will think, speak, and act throughout the day. Gratitude is one of the most powerful attitudes you can carry into a new day, and prayer makes it possible. When you wake up and immediately thank God for life, for breath, for the chance to see a new morning, you are shifting your focus from what is missing to what has been given. Gratitude disarms discontentment before it can settle in and steal your joy. It causes you to recognize God's hand in both the big and small details of your life. Even before anything happens that day, you are already looking through a lens of appreciation, which makes you more sensitive to the blessings and opportunities that might otherwise go unnoticed. Gratitude in prayer lifts the heaviness that can come from yesterday's worries and allows you to step forward with a lighter heart. Faith is the other essential element that morning prayer ignites. When you begin by speaking to God, you are declaring with your actions that you trust Him to guide and sustain you. You are choosing faith over self-reliance, faith over fear, faith over doubt. This act of trust strengthens your spiritual posture, helping you stand firm when challenges arise later in the day. Speaking God's promises over your life in prayer builds an expectation that He will move on your behalf, and this expectation fuels hope. Hope becomes the engine that keeps you going even when circumstances try to discourage you. A heart full of faith looks at obstacles and sees opportunities for God to show His power, and that perspective can completely change the way you approach the day's difficulties. Prayer first thing in the morning also guards your speech. The words you speak early in the day often set a pattern for the rest of the day, and when those words are directed toward God, they are filled with life and power. Instead of grumbling about what you have to do or speaking negatively about the day ahead, you are declaring blessing, peace, and purpose over yourself and those around you. This not only lifts your own spirit, but can impact the atmosphere of your home, your workplace, and any environment you step into. People who encounter you will sense a different energy because you have already centered yourself in God's presence. Another beautiful effect of speaking to God first is that it quiets the mental noise that can crowd your thoughts. Before you check your phone, before you scroll through news or social media, prayer gives you a moment of stillness where you can hear God's whisper. His voice becomes the first influence on your heart, not the opinions or pressures of the world. This makes a dramatic difference in how you handle stress because you are starting from a place of spiritual equilibrium. You are not reacting to the day, but proactively shaping it through communion with God. This simple habit of talking to God as the first act of your morning also builds intimacy with Him. Over time, this becomes the most natural and cherished part of your day, and you begin to crave it. You find yourself looking forward to that quiet moment of connection where you can pour out your heart, receive fresh strength, and be reminded of who you are in Him. This consistency builds a history with God that strengthens your faith because you have seen Him answer prayers and bring peace again and again. It becomes your spiritual rhythm, grounding you no matter what storms may come. When gratitude and faith become the starting point of your day, they color every interaction and decision that follows. You walk into meetings with a calmer spirit, speak to loved ones with more patience, and face challenges with a confidence that does not come from you, but from the one you spoke to at the start of the day. You begin to notice that worry no longer controls you as it once did, and that your first instinct in times of trouble is to turn back to the one who heard you in the morning. This is the transformative power of beginning with prayer. It doesn't just change how your day feels, it changes how you live. Prayer at dawn aligns your steps with God's plan, opening doors and guiding decisions. The early morning is a time when distractions are fewer, the world is quiet, and your heart is most open to receive direction from God. When you choose to pray before the demands of the day take hold, you are positioning yourself to hear His voice clearly and allowing Him to set the agenda for your day. This is not just about asking for what you want, but about listening for what He desires for you. Each moment spent in His presence at dawn becomes an opportunity for alignment, where your will is surrendered and His will is embraced. This alignment is powerful because it keeps you from running ahead of God or lagging behind Him, helping you stay in step with His perfect timing. Prayer in the early hours also helps you discern the difference between good opportunities and God opportunities. Life will present many choices that look appealing, but not all of them are meant for you. When you begin your day in prayer, you are asking God for wisdom to choose the path that leads to life and blessing rather than simply what looks convenient or easy. This guidance protects you from wasting time on pursuits that are not aligned with your calling and helps you invest your energy where it will produce the most fruit. You may not always see the full picture of where He is leading, but prayer gives you the assurance that every step you take is directed by the One who knows the end from the beginning. Early morning prayer also has a way of opening doors that seemed closed. As you align yourself with God's purposes, you begin to notice divine appointments and unexpected opportunities unfolding throughout the day. Conversations happen at just the right time, solutions appear where there seem to be none, and resources are provided from unexpected places. These moments are not coincidences. They are the result of starting your day in communion with the One who holds the keys to every door. When your heart is attuned to His, you are more sensitive to recognize these openings and bold enough to walk through them. Aligning your steps with God through prayer also helps you avoid unnecessary detours. Sometimes we end up in situations that drain us simply because we rushed into them without seeking God's direction first. Prayer acts as a checkpoint, allowing you to pause and invite His insight before making decisions. This pause can save you from heartache, wasted effort, or costly mistakes. It also trains you to depend on Him rather than leaning solely on your own understanding over time. This dependence becomes a natural way of living, where you automatically seek His counsel before moving forward in any area of your life. Another benefit of praying at dawn is the confidence it gives you to face the unknown. There will always be unexpected challenges waiting throughout the day, but when you've already aligned yourself with God's plan, you can face them with peace rather than panic. You know that He has already gone before you and that nothing will catch Him by surprise. This confidence allows you to move forward even when the next step feels uncertain. Trusting that the Shepherd is guiding you one step at a time. Prayer equips you with the courage to walk in faith, knowing that your path is secure because it has been committed to Him. Prayer in the morning also fine-tunes your spiritual sensitivity, making it easier to recognize when God redirects you. Sometimes you may feel a nudge to pause, take a different route, or reach out to someone unexpectedly. These promptings often lead to divine encounters or protect you from harm, and you are more likely to notice them when you have spent time with God before the day began. This is why prayer is not just a ritual but a lifeline. It keeps you connected to the One who is constantly guiding you. This habit of aligning your steps with God every morning gradually transforms the way you approach life. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally, confident that each decision is drawing you closer to the destiny He has prepared for you. The doors that open are the ones meant for you, the ones that lead to peace and purpose rather than confusion and regret. You begin to experience a flow to your day, a sense that things are falling into place not because of luck, but because of divine orchestration. This daily practice becomes the secret to walking in purpose, making choices that honor God, and stepping boldly into every assignment He places in your path. Consistent morning prayer strengthens your spirit and builds resilience against fear and worry. Life has a way of throwing challenges at you when you least expect them, and without a strong inner foundation, it is easy to be shaken by every setback or disappointment. When you begin your day by speaking with God, you are feeding your spirit before the pressures of life have a chance to drain you. This spiritual nourishment strengthens you from the inside out, equipping you to handle whatever the day might bring with grace and courage. Fear may try to rise up, but your heart will already be anchored in God's promises. Worry may knock on your door, but you will have the strength to resist letting it take over because you have already cast your cares on the one who can carry them. Prayer builds resilience because it reminds you daily that you are not in control and that this is good news. Many people carry unnecessary stress because they are trying to solve every problem in their own strength. But morning prayer is a chance to surrender that control. In that moment of surrender, you experience peace that surpasses understanding, the kind of peace that guards your heart and mind against anxiety. This peace becomes your shield throughout the day, allowing you to remain calm even in situations that once would have caused you to panic. You learn to respond rather than react, to speak with wisdom rather than frustration, and to walk with confidence rather than fear. Another way consistent prayer builds resilience is by training your mind to focus on solutions rather than problems. Worry magnifies what could go wrong, but prayer magnifies the one who holds the answer. When you pray each morning, you are shifting your focus from the size of your problems to the greatness of your God. This shift gives you a renewed perspective and the courage to face challenges with faith instead of dread. Even when you do not see immediate answers, prayer keeps hope alive within you. Hope is what keeps you moving forward when everything else tells you to give up, and it is in prayer that hope is continually renewed. Morning prayer also keeps your emotions steady by giving you a safe place to process them. Fear and worry often build up because they are not expressed, but when you pour them out before God, you release their hold over you. This release lightens your emotional load and makes space for joy and gratitude to fill your heart. It also allows you to hear God's reassurance, His gentle reminders that He is with you and that He has not forgotten you. This reassurance is what strengthens your resolve to keep trusting even when circumstances look uncertain. Resilience is not just about surviving hard times, but about thriving in the midst of them, and prayer equips you to do exactly that. The strength you gain in those quiet moments with God becomes the strength that carries you through a difficult conversation, a stressful deadline, or an unexpected disappointment. Your spirit becomes trained to stand firm rather than collapse under pressure. People may even notice that you handle challenges differently, that you carry a quiet strength that seems unshakable. This becomes a testimony of the power of prayer and may even inspire others to seek God for themselves. Morning prayer also teaches consistency, and consistency produces maturity. Over time, this daily discipline shapes your character and builds endurance. So that fear and worry no longer have the same control over your life, you become more patient, more trusting, and more spiritually alert. This transformation does not happen overnight, but with every morning prayer, your inner strength grows a little more. Soon you will notice that what used to overwhelm you no longer does, and what once left you feeling hopeless now becomes an opportunity to see God move in new ways. This daily strengthening of your spirit is what allows you to live with a deep sense of peace even in a world that is constantly changing. Fear may still knock, but it no longer gets to stay. Worry may still whisper, but it no longer has the final word. You walk into each day prepared, covered, and equipped because you have already met with the one who holds your life in his hands. This is the power of consistent morning prayer. It makes you unshakable, rooted, and ready for whatever lies ahead. Inviting God into your day releases breakthrough power and positions you for unexpected blessings. When you open your morning with prayer, you are not just asking for help. You are giving God full permission to move in ways that go beyond your plans and expectations. Breakthrough often comes when you least expect it, but prayer creates an atmosphere where it becomes more likely to happen because you have aligned your heart with heaven. When you start by saying, Lord, lead me, guide me, have your way today, you are stepping aside and allowing Him to direct your steps, to move obstacles, and to orchestrate divine encounters that can change the course of your life. This simple act of inviting Him in creates space for miracles to manifest in ordinary moments. Prayer first thing in the morning sets a tone of expectancy. which is a key ingredient for breakthrough. You begin the day believing that something good can happen, that God is working on your behalf, and that today could be the day things shift. This posture of faith draws you into alignment with His promises and opens your eyes to opportunities you might have overlooked otherwise. Many breakthroughs are missed not because God wasn't ready to move, but because hearts were too distracted to notice. When He did, starting the day with prayer keeps you spiritually alert, ready to recognize when He is answering a prayer or opening a new door. Breakthrough is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is subtle, a quiet shift in your thinking or a gentle nudge toward a new direction. Morning prayer is where those subtle breakthroughs often begin. As you speak with God, He may give you fresh insight into a problem that has been bothering you, a creative solution to a situation at work, or a new perspective on a relationship. These moments may feel small, but they set off a chain reaction that leads to greater change. You walk into your day with clarity, which empowers you to make better decisions and take actions that position you for bigger blessings down the road. Prayer also has the power to break cycles that have kept you stuck. Worry, fear, and self-sabotage can trap you in repeating patterns. But when you bring these struggles to God at the start of the day, He begins to dismantle their hold on your life. The more you pray, the more you invite His Spirit to renew your mind and transform the way you see yourself and your circumstances. This internal breakthrough is often what leads to external breakthroughs, because when your mindset changes, your choices change, and those choices open new doors. Prayer gives you the courage to step out of old habits and into the new things God has for you. Another way inviting God into your day positions you for blessing is by aligning your steps with divine timing. Some doors are not just about opportunity, but about timing, and prayer is what keeps you in sync with the rhythm of God's plan. As you pray, you might sense a push to move forward quickly in one area or a pull to wait patiently in another. This sensitivity to His leading helps you avoid missed opportunities and wasted effort. Instead of striving in your own strength, you begin to move with a supernatural flow, where things fall into place more easily because you are walking in step with Him. Breakthroughs are often accompanied by favor, and favor becomes more evident in the lives of those who consistently seek God first. Prayer opens your heart to receive this favor and to steward it well. People begin to notice you, doors begin to open, and resources begin to flow in ways that seem unexplainable. This is not coincidence, because the hand of God responding to your invitation and pouring out blessings that go beyond what you could have orchestrated on your own. Morning prayer positions you to not just receive blessings, but to recognize them when they come, and to use them for the purpose God intended. Over time, this daily practice creates a lifestyle of breakthrough, where you no longer wait for something to happen before you pray, but live in a constant state of expectancy and trust. You begin to notice that blessings seem to meet you along the way, that solutions appear right when you need them, and that even obstacles become stepping stones towards something greater. This is the power of inviting God into your day. It turns every morning into a launching point for miracles, every ordinary moment into an opportunity for His glory to be revealed, and every challenge into a setup for victory that you could not have achieved by your own effort.